So you want to become a new Epic 7 content creator, but you're not really sure where to start. Well, let me tell you, the first step to become anything is to do your own homework, to know what you're getting yourself into. And you can use my channel as a North Star. I'm going to be using some videos and some examples from my channel, from my experience, and from what I observe around me that will help you get an understanding as to what you're getting yourself into. So let's talk numbers. This is the overall viewership of my channel throughout its lifetime. As you can see, first it started with a flat line, and then it showed a heartbeat, and then there was a big flat line, and then there's a heartbeat, and then there are these big spikes that went up, and then it just went down. That's when I quit, and then it just spiked again because I uploaded one reverse 1999 rolling video, and now it's declining. Well, I'll show you, or I'll try to explain to you my story, a perspective of what I've seen, and ways you can kind of forecast your viewership. Now let's explain the very first video that put a heartbeat on my channel. Its name is Some Epic 7 Lore. At the time, I really thought, hey, no one was making any Epic 7 lore videos, let me make a lore video. I realized a lot of people were confused, and I also realized another thing. No one watches lore. No one cares about lore. The only reason this video popped off is because I copy-pasted the link to Epic 7 Reddit, and I just happened to get lucky. Of course, I could have been doing that. I could have kept making Epic 7 lore videos and copy-pasting them to Reddit. I do not recommend that. Well, aside of the spam that you're gonna get in your emails or something, some people, they offer constructive criticism, but the way they deliver their constructive criticism can be very scary and daunting. On the opposite end, if your video is really well made, you will get positive reinforcement. So you have to keep that in mind. Do not be intimidated when some people don't like your video. In fact, one other thing, if assuming your video has large enough views, you can always check the audience retention rate and see whether they were interested or not. Even though this video has a lot of views, in my opinion, as you can see, over half of the viewership was gone after the first 30 seconds. So it is what it is. No one cares about the lore. If you want to make a Epic 7 lore channel, just don't expect much. Now, after the first initial heartbeat, you can see that the channel dies. And then there's this big spike. Well, at the time, it was my biggest spike. It's because I made a video called Custom Mystic Summons Are a Scam. And the reason I made this video is because I have never gotten a Nat ML5. All my ML5s have been pity. And I saved up so much mystics for this custom mystic thing that I thought I might as well upload it. Now keep in mind, at the time, custom mystic summons were a very brand new thing. If they release Rift and you're the first person to make a video about it, you will get these abnormal spikes in views. But keep in mind, these are not loyal viewers. These viewers are only here because you're the very first or among the first to make a video about it. Also, the fact the video was just a minute long, that was definitely a contributing factor for people pressing on my channel. People don't usually press on channels they haven't watched before, especially if the views on the video are not much, because people assume more views must mean this video is good, right? Well, it is what it is. This video sucks. It does nothing, but it's a gotcha game. So if you make rolls, surely you're gonna get a lot of viewership. Of course, you have to keep talking about whatever is relevant. For example, a unit getting buffed, a new mechanic being introduced into the game. You want to spark discussion, should you pull, blah, blah, blah. However, do keep in mind that coincidences do happen. For example, this Silk video, I made it before Silk was buffed, and frankly speaking, in its first hours, it did nothing. However, after the balance patch dropped, you can see this big spike in viewership, which was a total coincidence I did not see coming. I am not leaking info from Smilegate, I swear. Now, this next advice I'm going to give you is just generic. It applies to every other form of content you ever want to make, which is thumbnails and regularity. Why do thumbnails matter? Well, they're your first impression. Your first viewer is going to look at your title, and then he's going to look at your thumbnail. Is it edited, or did you put some effort behind it? I mean, just look at Grass Angel, look at Azalea, look at Some Mole. Actually, Some Mole is not a good example, but you get the gist. Unless you're Tristan Wolf, which you have a reputation for having cracked guides, which we will talk about guides in a moment, you just have to edit or you have to put up a thumbnail in some way. If you obviously put my low quality effort where I just let the video decide what's the thumbnail, or if I just screenshot gameplay, it's not gonna look good, you know? The only times you can get away with screenshotting the actual gameplay itself is when your strays hits 100k or some Hua-Young misery after her nerf. So yeah, just work on your thumbnails, please, and build regularity, because I swear to God, the only reason I watched Azalea for as long as I did is because every day after university, as soon as I start eating lunch, Azalea would have a video ready and I would watch it. And frankly speaking, after he started uploading Guild War content, or after he started deviating from RTA, I slowly toned down the viewership because I'm only interested in RTA. And keep that in mind. Some people want their specific niche and their specific niche only. Your guy watching a guide from Tristan Wolf is not the same person watching an RTA video. Of course, there will be overlaps here and there, but some people are here for guides. Some people are here just to see, is this unit worth pulling, or if it has any practical uses. Some people just want to see the PvP, and yeah, you can't really expect much overlap. Now let's talk about my most viewed video. Unfortunately, it's a guide. Now listen, if the guide is very generic about a key mechanic of the game, in this case Spirit Blooms, then yes, this guide is technically eternal for however long it exists. Obviously, guides that were 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago have stopped existing, because 4 to 5 years ago you used to have elemental penguins and it just sucked to level up your unit. It took absolutely forever to 6-star a unit, and then come the next 2-3 years they introduced the Stigma Penguin reward system, and then, you know, it just started ramping up. People made new guides and 6-starring became faster. And then they made Spirit Blooms, which, give or take, is a positive and a negative. I don't really have any views in particular about it, but yeah, just keep in mind that old guides have just died off, and this is your chance to make a guide about something new. Obviously, as soon as Epic 7 stops this system, as soon as they decide, yo, Spirit Blooms update is no more, then and only then will this guide die. So again, if I don't know if I mentioned this, but like, if you have anything new, just go to Tristan Wolf. I swear, if you can find a way to simplify a hunt, to simplify something using a very F2P setup or very minimal gear, or just setups that no one thought before, if you can just capitalize a system that no one else has, just go to Tristan Wolf's Discord, give him your idea and say, hey, can you upload this? Give me credit. I'm sure he will be open to it, because Tristan Wolf really has monopolized it in a very smart way. He has a Discord server of very dedicated fans who just show you the easiest way to do something. If he can't do it, but a fan does it, well, he just says, yo, so my friend made this, and you know the rest. So if you want to make guides on your own, maybe look up Samol, because he's another good example, or a OG YouTuber called Dr. Squirrel. They used to make, you know, Wyvern 13 guides, Golem 13, blah blah blah, and Labyrinth. And as soon as Smilegate changed how Labyrinth worked, guess what? All those hunts have died off. Or when they released a new 3-star and 5-star characters who do hunts better than previous units, well, those guides have lost some relevancy, because now you have better and faster ways to get this F2P Wyvern 13 hunt guide up. So yeah, if you want to make a guide, you have to keep two things in mind. One thing is, how long will this guide last? When it comes to hunts, obviously, they're gonna last a really long while, since this is a 99% gear hunting game. But if you're gonna make a expedition guide, come on man, Brig dropped and suddenly every other previous expedition guide is irrelevant. And yeah, do keep that in mind. Now let's talk about RTA. Before I let you leave, I just need to let you know a few things about RTA. The thing about RTA content is, if you spam it doing the same thing over and over, you will start feeling insane and your viewers are gonna start feeling bored. You know, back before Hua-Young got nerfed, it got boring. You know, just watching Hua-Young kick this unit into infinity. It was fun the first time, it was fun the second time, but then it wasn't fun the 1 millionth time. Similarly, Conquer Lilius, when she released, everyone was like, oh, finally, a good, strong unit. And then for the next 2 years, it's all been Conquer Lilius, Conquer Lilius, Conquer Lilius. Same thing with Angel of Light. She released, everyone is like, finally, a good new unit, and then she just played the game. Lua is the same story, and for me, that unit is Knuckle. Okay, some periods you're gonna be very happy. For me, it was Ahmed. When Ahmed released, I was happy to play during that era, because I like using Ahmed, and similarly, Ahmed doesn't require impossible gear to make her a S-tier unit. But then you have Pyrrha, who just... her entire job is to shut you down. You have Lua, you have this new Knuckle. Their job is to shut you off. Like, I don't mind a crazy broken buffer, but when they release crazy broken debuffers, evade units, uncontrollable units like ML Landy, there will be periods where it just becomes a slugfest. You don't know what to do. You can make variety content, or at least you can use uncommon units, kind of like Neuravolt, and you can, to some degree, attract clicks that way. But at the end of the day, you need to keep a positive outlook. If you can have a positive outlook, you can promise yourself consistent growth. If you easily tilt, then tone it down, or maybe make EXE content, which is basically just over-edited memes. I don't know what else to say, really. Just do whatever you want. Have fun. And that's the problem, having fun. That's the hard part about RTA. It starts fun. You might enjoy talking with your community, engaging with your comments, but the game itself, yeah, that's the problem, the game itself. Anyways, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.
A moment. I'll be right with you. Whenever, wherever.